Hi guys and welcome to Awesome Bundesliga, new match day, in this case the 25th, so let's analyze every single game, always with Radek Vegas. And I also want to know your opinion, so let me know what you think in the comment section and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. Also remember, if you enjoyed the video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get all the notifications. And now let's go on with the show. New match day of the Bundesliga, new fight between Leipzig and Bayern Munich. So let's analyze everything. Hello, Radek. How are you?
Hey, Eduardo. Looking forward to this game day and hopefully we will see some surprises again.
Yes, a lot of surprises in this Bundesliga. Let's start with the game we have on Friday. Augsburg, Gladbach, and I'm so surprised to see the odds for this game because the Gladbach victory is around 2, not even 2, and the run is awful, absolutely awful. They lost again in the weekend against Leverkusen. They are 10th right now in the table, making 5 straight defeats in all competitions, 6 winless games in the Bundesliga. They are facing Man City next week. And they travel to Augsburg. Of course, they are not great. They even lost against Hertha Berlin. But I don't know if you agree also with these really low odds for Gladbach.
Yeah, kind of agree because Gladbach is a good team anyway, but they didn't show a lot of points in the last game days. They had good opponents, but yeah, they struggle since Marco Rose, their coach, said he's moving to Dortmund. They lost all games since then and or didn't win. And now, for sure, they had a close game against Leverkusen, who is not a bad team. And it was not a big loss because it was, was really not a bad game of Gladbach. So the potential of Gladbach is still there, but the odds are not really good enough to bet on them. So Augsburg is really not good at all, and I think I would bet on Gladbach if the odds would be around 2, but they are not. And yeah, maybe, but it's hard to say. I really don't like to bet on Gladbach. I can imagine there will be a draw, but that says that Augsburg is good, and I don't think so. So it's a clear no bet because Gladbach, you never know, can they find back to their potential, or is the streak going on? And I'm really not sure about this, so take the hands off if you're like me here.
Next game then, Mainz, Freiburg. Mainz, they drew against Schalke. They are in relegation zone, only 1 defeat in the last 5 games though. And Freiburg, they lost 0-3 against Leipzig, but they are doing a great season actually. And the odds here, Mainz favorite playing at home. Slightly favorite because the draw is the most likely result.
Yeah, and they were the way better team against Schalke. They had about 20 shots on goal, but they didn't score. And that's a problem for Mainz. And on the other hand, I don't understand why they should be favorite in this game. The odds are like the bookies expect a draw. Not really sure there because I think Freiburg is the way better team, and that's why I like the view on Asian handicap and put a bet on Asian handicap on Freiburg, and to ensure the draw. If there's a draw, you get your money back with Asian handicap 0. This bet is called draw no bet because if there's a draw, you have no bet and get your money back. And you get odds of around 2.0 for that. And I think this is really good because Mainz is struggling, and Freiburg is really a good team. They lost against an even better team, who's Leipzig, who's competing for the championship. So no shame about that. But I think in this game, Freiburg should be a bit better team, maybe win, maybe draw, but to bet on Mainz win is ridiculous. So I like the Asian handicap 0 on Freiburg here.
Clear bet then for Freiburg. Next game we have Union Berlin Cologne, and we find odds around 2. If we back Union Berlin, the problem is that they've won only 1 game in their last 8, even if they are still close to Europe. Their last game was a draw against Bielefeld, whereas Cologne, they are still in danger, 3 points above playoff. They drew against Werder Bremen, but before 3 straight defeats. After this game, actually, they face Dortmund and Wolfsburg, so they have a difficult calendar. Maybe it's a good opportunity, no, for Union Berlin to win again.
Yeah, sure, they have to, but they also had to win against Arminia Bielefeld, and they didn't. So no reason to overrate Union Berlin at the moment, because they are 7th in the standings, means that there are a lot of bad teams in the Bundesliga in the middle field. From anywhere in the standings, every team can beat anyone, and in this case, I don't see them as clear favorite against Cologne. Yes, that's why the odds of 2.0 for Union are too low. I would say the value is more on Cologne, but I won't ever bet on Cologne, and that's why the only thing I can do is to bet on a draw. With 1/3 of a unit. If you watch this channel often, and you should know that my hit rate on draws is not that bad, and I think in this game a draw is most likely, and even if Union Berlin wins, a draw is the better option, because you risk less and you win more than betting on Union Berlin and getting an awful draw at the end. And that's why you have to balance what is realistic, what are the probabilities, and the probabilities are not that high that Union Berlin wins this game. And yeah, let's bet on a draw here.
Draw then between Union Berlin Cologne is your bet. Then we have Werder Bremen Bayern Munich. Bayern, they suffer a lot to beat Borussia Dortmund, but they have a man called Lewandowski, who scored another 3 goals, 31 in the Bundesliga, making history. Bayern, they face Lazio in the following week, but the job is done in the Champions League. And Werder Bremen, they are in the middle of the table. They drew against Cologne. That's why, well, we've seen how Werder Bremen is not a great team, so the bookies expect an easy victory for Bayern Munich, but they are not winning that comfortably, let's say, in the last weeks.
Oh, they scored 4 goals against Borussia Dortmund. I think this is world class, and so what do you want more? I said it before. I think that in games, when it comes to the point, there is no team in the world who's that focused than Bayern Munich, and they proved it because they were behind 2 goals by this crazy young kid from Norway, and then Bayern Munich didn't give up or thought the game is over. No, they played till the end, and they score and have Lewandowski, who is such an awesome player, and they won this game. But if you have to tip a result between Bremen and Bayern, what would you tip, or what would be your result in this game?
For me, easy victory for Bayern Munich, like most of the games in the Bundesliga. I shall handicap
How much?
Something like this.
Yeah, but the last 2 games against Werder Bremen, that's why I'm asking. The last game was 1-1, and last season Bayern only won 1-0. So I think they somehow have a problem with Werder Bremen. And 1 point, which is amazing, Werder Bremen has a really good defense. They conceded less goals than Bayern Munich, 33 goals only, and Bayern Munich 34 goals. That's a factor. Maybe Bremen can keep the game close, and it's not that easy. Coming to the odds, because Bayern Munich is huge favorite with 1.28, it's almost no value in this huge favorite bets. For sure, Bayern Munich is beating every team, and they are way better than Werder Bremen. But I think they sometimes jump only as high as they have to, and have somehow problems with teams with no names, and the lack of motivation there. And so I can imagine it's a close game. I won't bet on weak teams like Werder Bremen, but I won't bet on a huge Bayern win here. So it's no value in this game, but interesting to watch for sure. Maybe we see a lot of goals, maybe for both sides, because Bayern Munich always concedes goals in the last 21 games. I think they were behind in 15 games. So maybe bet on first goal Werder Bremen should be a huge odd and not that impossible. But that's only a highly speculation and gambling. And for me in this game, I personally won't touch this to bet on. But there are some maybe it's better to find high odds on the underdogs here as well, but you never know.
We have, for instance, Werder Bremen Asian handicap plus 1.5, 2.3, if you think.
Yeah, but that's, as I said, it's also, it's not an option to bet really on weak teams against strong teams, and not with Asian handicap as well, but the only thing would be maybe that Bremen scores at least one time, and even you don't find value on a lot of goals, like over 2.5. It's ridiculous of 1.38, or as I said, maybe it's better to think it's a close game, and Bremen is not without a chance. And finding odds like first teams to score on Werder Bremen gets you odds of 4.0. That is something I would put small money on. My strategy always is to put as much money on to win one unit. If my unit is 100 euro, I would bet 25 euro on this game with odds of 4 to win one unit back in 100 euros. So the higher the odds, the lower the amount of money you need. And so, yeah.
Perfect.
One thing.
Perfect. Then we have the next game, Wolfsburg-Schalke. The odds are very similar actually for Wolfsburg. Of course, everybody expects a home victory here. This is the third against the last team in the Bundesliga. Although Wolfsburg, they lost against Hoffenheim. They were defeated also in the cup, but they are making an amazing season. Only it was their third defeat in the Bundesliga in the season, and they have a striker like Weghorst who is scoring a lot. So I don't know if you have the same feeling as the previous one, or you actually see Wolfsburg thrashing Schalke here.
No, because Schalke has a new coach with Dimitrios Gramotzis, and I don't believe in effects on changing the coach a lot, but in this case, you have to consider that Schalke conceded over 60 goals in this season, and they managed to keep their sheet clean against Mainz. Okay, it's Mainz, pre-last in the standings, but on the other hand, Wolfsburg is not a team who thrashes their opponents. Wolfsburg is always hard in winning games, but they closely win games and not with huge advantage. So even against Schalke, I don't think they are that huge favorite with 1.8 or 1.4. 1.8 I would bet on them, but 1.4 is no option to bet on Wolfsburg, not even on Bayern or Leipzig or who else. So always be aware of the so-called favorite odds. And why should we bet on Asian handicap on Schalke? No reason for that, but just saying that I won't touch a game where the favorite is too obvious, the favorite, because it's never that obvious that the bookies want to suggest you. Because why are the odds on favorites like Wolfsburg that low? Not because they are highly potential favorites, because everyone or people who are not that into the Bundesliga only look at the standings and see, whoa, position 3rd against position 18, sure win for position 3. But if this would be the case in any game, there won't be any surprises in soccer, and that's why huge favorite odds are driven by a lot of money in the market, and that's why I think the value is in most cases on the underdogs, and even maybe on Asian handicap on Schalke, but that is only too early to think that Schalke is gonna turn their streak around. But maybe Gramotzis is doing a better job than Gross. I'm really confident that Schalke will collect some points till the end of the season, but it's almost impossible for them to stay in the first league.
Yeah, the level was so low during this season, so it's very easy to do it better. I have bad news because the next games also we have huge favorites in the home team. We have Borussia Dortmund Hertha, finally the first victory for Dardai as an Hertha Berlin coach, still fighting against relegation, 2 points above the playoff zone. They beat Augsburg in the last weekend, and Dortmund, we just said how they were beaten by Bayern Munich. They are facing Sevilla in the Champions League this week, so they might arrive a little bit tired, but they cannot afford to drop more points in the Bundesliga because they must qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah, for sure, but the win of Hertha was a kind of lucky because they got a penalty 1 minute before the end, and this penalty was really, I think this was not a penalty. When I was playing soccer 20 years ago, I would never as a striker go down on the ground if someone touches me like this a bit, but in the Bundesliga or in international professional soccer, the striker know that the referees are so thumb, and the video assistant is so far away from really playing soccer. In the English league, they're known for harder playing style. I don't think this would be a penalty there. So this was a gift for Hertha. Anyway, they show really improvements under Dardai in the last games. They had strong opponents, but now they had opponent they had to beat with Augsburg. They beat them, and now they're playing against Borussia Dortmund. And this is interesting because you said Borussia Dortmund is playing against Sevilla. This is not a sure thing for them because they only won 3-2, and I don't think this will be an easy win for them. So Sevilla can challenge Dortmund a lot. So Dortmund has to put everything in this game to advance in the Champions League, and that's why I think the players will be exhausted in this game against Hertha, and that's why I think Borussia Dortmund is not going to win against Hertha, and so we have a value on betting on Hertha Berlin with Asian handicap +1, means even if Dortmund wins closely with 1 goal, what is absolutely realistic, you get odds of 2.15. 2.15, and if there's a draw or win for Hertha, you win the bet, and with good odds. And that's my hope in this game, that Hertha is going to improve and Dortmund will be exhausting, and that's why we find value on the side of Berlin.
Mm-hmm. You also agree actually with our experts for the Champions League saying that Borussia Dortmund will struggle against Sevilla. For sure they are struggling this season. Also is struggling Leverkusen. They have a home game against Bielefeld. Leverkusen, they are out of Europe. They were kicked out of the Europa League, but they should beat, I guess, Bielefeld, a team that will fight until the end for sure to stay in the Bundesliga. They drew against Union Berlin and Leverkusen. They were in a really bad run, but that goal scored by Schick in the last minutes against Gladbach there gave them the victory. Only 2 victories in their last 10 games. So it's not that easy to trust them.
No, not at all. And that's why same thing here. Leverkusen with 1.4 is too dangerous because you lose more than you can win if there is another bad game of Leverkusen, what is not that unusual in the last games. On the other hand, yeah, Bielefeld made 1 point against Union Berlin, what is not that bad. I don't understand why they changed their coach, because Bielefeld came into the league as a huge underdog. No one expected anything of them, and they did some good jobs against better teams. They collected points, and so I think the coach did really the best thing he can do with this team. And now they changed the coach. I think it's not said that this was a good thing. On the other hand, we can't trust Leverkusen, we can't trust Bielefeld. So if you can't trust anything, then don't bet. Betting on goals is also no option here. So yeah, the only thing I can imagine that there will be a good bet on both teams to score. No, because maybe we see Leverkusen winning 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Maybe there's a 0-0, but in a game with Bielefeld, who only scored about 18 goals, I think, and 3 of them against Bayern Munich, it's always an option to bet on both teams to score no, and this would be the best bet in my eyes, better than betting on Leverkusen, to bet on maybe Leverkusen winning with no goal against them, but anyway, you can't trust them.
Then let's see the best game we have in the weekend in the Bundesliga. If you find value, Leipzig, Eintracht Frankfurt, so second against the 4th Leipzig. They have to face Liverpool in the Champions League, and I think they still have an option at least to put a fight. And in the weekend they beat Freiburg. They are in a good run now, 6 straight victories in the Bundesliga. That's why they are still chasing Bayern, whereas Eintracht, after that amazing run that they had, they drew against Stuttgart. They were defeated by Werder Bremen before, so maybe they are again going. I mean, it's not like they are going down, but their run was that amazing that I would say that this is normal that they are dropping points, and the odds are good enough for you to trust Leipzig here, 1.8 more or less.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because maybe this video is released after the Champions League game, so I wanted to fake that we know that Leipzig made a brilliant sensation and beat Liverpool out of the Champions League. What was my prediction in the German version of Oddspedia for the Champions League, because I think Leipzig is really strong at the moment, and Liverpool kind of sucks at the moment, and this is why I really hope that Leipzig can turn around and win with 3-0 or 3-1 against Liverpool, which is highly speculative but not impossible. And so we don't know how hard this game against Liverpool will be for them, but we know they have a really hard game, and that is the advantage we see on Frankfurt here. Because the same situation like in the Dortmund game, I expect Leipzig to play more than 100% of their capability against Liverpool, because this is, they have to, and they can fight against Liverpool till the end maybe, and that's why no matter how the game ends, they will be exhausting against Frankfurt on Sunday, and Frankfurt will be rested, will be concentrated again after 2 games not winning. Okay, not special about that. So I think the odds are way too low on Leipzig here. I would say the balanced odd would be fair, but to have balanced odds, you can bet on Asian handicap plus 0.5 on Frankfurt, means double chance on Frankfurt. Draw or win Frankfurt gives you odds of 2.15 around, and this is not a bad thing. And consider for the accumulator later. Maybe we put a small double bet and include Frankfurt with 1.5 Asian handicap, and that means even if Frankfurt loses with 1 goal, we get odds of 1.4. Combine this with another 1.4 bet, you get a double bet, and yeah.
I also think that Leipzig, they have an option against Liverpool, but we will talk about it next week. Before, we have to analyze the last game. On Sunday, Stuttgart-Hoffenheim, two teams that are in the middle of the table. Stuttgart, they drew exactly against Eintracht. So for undefeated games, the same games that are undefeated Hoffenheim, they beat Wolfsburg, 2 victories, 2 draws. So two teams that are in the middle of the table, that they are not going to fight against, for anything at the end of the season. The season for Stuttgart has been way better than for Hoffenheim because they are a newly promoted team. But we know how Stuttgart suffer at home. They are a better team when they are playing on the road. So your predictions here, a draw seems like a good option always.
Yeah, it's the only option, I would say, because this is a game where everything can happen. Stuttgart, made a good job in the last game, but they were a bit lucky to make a point against Frankfurt. I think Frankfurt was, better. They also scored a second goal, which was not given because of, I don't know why, because Jovic was kind of offside, I think, or something like that, before the goal was scored, and that's why Stuttgart is not the clear favorite in this game for sure, because we saw Hoffenheim beating Wolfsburg, which is a great team, and why shouldn't they have a chance against Stuttgart here? And that's why the odds of 3.8 on a draw is the best thing to do with 1/3 of a unit. And we don't have a lot of games where we have clear draws in this game day, but in this case, Stuttgart-Hoffenheim, I always think, because this is also a derby, because they are not that far away in the south of Germany, and I always tend to bet on a draw in this game between these two teams.
Yes, as we've seen, it's a match day with a lot of favorites against a lot of underdogs, even the favorites playing at home. So very low odds, but you found some value, Radek, as always. Let's see your ACCA in case we can make a little bit more of money. Yeah,
what I like really is to bet on Freiburg Asian handicap. You get odds of around 1.5. To combine this with maybe Frankfurt plus 1.5, you get odds of 1.4. And if you want to have another thing, maybe it's a good thing to consider Wolfsburg is gonna not lose against Schalke. We are really agree that it's highly unrealistic that Schalke is winning against Wolfsburg. Hit me if they win, okay, but you get odds of 1.10 that Wolfsburg is not losing, and that is not really an option to put in accumulator. But what I said is Hertha against Dortmund. I feel it that Hertha is not losing this game high. Just put in Hertha +2 with odds of 1.33. This is a really small odd 3-sum accumulator. I just calculate what you get out of this. It's around 2.8 to 3 with 3 really not bad odds. But I'm really not the expert in accumulators, and I always would recommend to bet on draws, and I would put a draw here in Union Berlin against Cologne and Stuttgart versus Hoffenheim, and the rest, should be favorite wins, but with some kind of surprise.
Prices like always in the Bundesliga. Then thanks, Radek. Let's chat next week to analyze more Bundesliga. Enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you for watching and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.
You have draws option, you have ACCA, you have a lot of bets. This is what Radek thinks about the match day in Bundesliga, but I also want to know your opinion, so do not forget to comment in the video. You will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And also do not forget to click on the like button if you are enjoying our videos. Click on the subscribe button and click on the bell to get all the notifications. Also, you can listen to all our videos in our podcast. And next week we are back. As always, we analyze every single Bundesliga game here in Odds on Bundesliga.